How do fetishes start? Maybe look into massaging lewd videos, might scratch the same itch. You come across something, get intrigued, go down the rabbit hole and you have a new fetish now. I know these new feelings might be somewhat disturbing to you, and admittedly they are a little weird, but this isn't nearly the worst kink you could have. Just trying to put this in perspective. Always a bit frustrating when people make joke comments assuming the poster has zero chance of being serious. Yeah, I'd have to define a fetish and what you mean by how they snowball. You think it has snowballed? Or it will. The question's not too defined right now. If it's something like strong sexual attraction to something not normally considered sexual, then yeah, there's no how. To simplify it, you'll definitely come across something that makes you go, huh, why did that turn me on? And then you usually can choose to continue feeding that urge by engaging with whatever caused that stimulus. More bread watching videos for you, and it'll either grow or die off. You'll find out later. Or you can choose to ignore it. Or you can choose to find similar things to figure out if it's the bread making or something else. The sounds, the food, the hands, the movement, the skill. There are tons of options as to why it started. Is it this one? U2.Beck COJWNFB7 USI equals JLEOQSXCRWAZ ERF. For all the Spanish speakers, is this what people mean when they say they're pansexual? This is what keto does to some people. We really got bred sexuality before GTA Roman 6. I'm trying to imagine and practice what that means. Like I'd just roll you around the floor and pour a bag of flour on your head probably. I think it's the sensual nature of the way he handles the dough, not the dough itself, lol. But it's like Pavlov's dogs, you are now associating bread making with sex, so the next time you see bread you might get turned on, lol. They are born from imagination and typically repressed because mainstream society puts a stigma on them. The longer they are repressed, the stronger they grow. It may be how it starts, but that's not how it takes hold. You are what you eat applies to our sexuality. Right now it's just a thing that pushes some buttons for you, if you feed it. I've been with a girl one and said I was going to need her ass and hips, which is wording I've used before with others. She then liked to refer to herself as my little ball of dough and need your little ball of dough daddy. It took me by surprise. This guy. You are predisposed to a particular fetish, already residing in your brain. You just happen to discover it. People in comments make it sound like it's something bad, but it is not. Emergent deep pansexual. Genuinely, I don't think you're forming an attraction to dough here, just the way the guy handles it. Like I'm really into a car guy! Exclamation Richard Hammond. And seeing his hands on the wheel and the way he grips the paddle shifter do make me fluttery. It doesn't mean I'm attracted to the car parts, it means I like the way his hands move on them. If you start to get aroused by any old baker needing some dough, then maybe you are into it. But if the video I've seen is the one you're describing, he does go about it very sensually. And it's probably less about the dough and more about the fantasy of being handled and played within a certain way. Hands can do a lot, it's normal to find them hot, because they can do a lot to you. Baker here, when I was working years ago with a wee Portuguese fella called Jorge, he would always do these things with the dough. Very filthy mind to treat the dough like you treat the women in bed. I, for one, blame Dan Schneider. Yes, this is exactly how fetishes start. Try to find a new hobby or something fun to take your mind off it and avoid watching more of his videos.